This is a short video on how the app Classroom can help you. Let's dive in. Apple Classroom is a powerful tool that you can have at your fingertips on both your Mac and your iPad. The first step is to make sure you download Apple Classroom from Self-Service or the App Store on your Mac. This app is designed to help make your life as a teacher easier. In some cases, it's referred to as a powerful teaching assistant. Let's dive in. The app was designed to help guide your students through a lesson, see their progress, and keep them on track. In this segment, we will be looking specifically at how to use Apple Classroom to keep your students on track. Although there are more powerful pieces to this app and ways to help enhance your teaching, this is where we will start. Pick the course that you would like to observe or interact with. This will bring you to a screen with two parts: the top with options to change what you are viewing or the actions that you want to take, and the bottom is what is currently happening on your student iPads. The top part of the screen will have your 7 options for working with your student devices. We will be focusing on the option that has the binoculars, which will switch from this screen that you started with to your students' actual screens. Once you tap the binoculars, you will be able to see all of your students' screens. While on their screens, you are able to see which apps they are currently in, as well as what they are currently doing within that app. If you would like to look closer at one particular student, just tap directly on their screen. Once you click on a particular student's screen, you will be given 9 options that you can apply to just their iPad. In order to view their screen, just tap the binoculars. Once you have tapped on a particular student's screen, it will give you a full screen of what that student is doing. It will be a live version of what they are doing on their screen, so you'll be able to see exactly what they're searching for or exactly what they are doing within that app. This is great during independent work time to help monitor how well students are understanding the activity they are working on, and if they may need further instructions to help master the task. This is also a way to monitor when students get distracted or off task within the iPad. To get back to full screen, you can tap on Show All or Done, and it will bring you back to where you started. Once in full screen, you are looking at all of your students' live screens. This is a great way to monitor if they are on task, as well as if they are doing well on the tasks that you have given them. When looking at the full screen, if you notice someone has happened to go into an app that they don't need to be in, I suggest tapping first on their screen and taking a look at what are they doing. Sometimes they are actually on task when we think that they aren't. In this particular case, she seems to have gotten a little bit off track. So I'm going to go into the actions and choose Hide. This is a nonverbal response that both my students and I understand as, let's try to get back on track. On her screen, everything will go back to her home screen, taking her out of the app she was in. One other thing that you may have noticed on my screen is that I have one student who has been offline. That can happen for a variety of reasons. The first is they're not at school that day, which was this case. Another reason might be that they have turned off their Bluetooth. If their Bluetooth is off, you will not be able to see their screen. Make sure their Bluetooth is on. The last one is they may not be using their iPad at that time. Another great way to use Apple Classroom is to get your students to transition quickly. If you want your students to turn off their iPads quickly, ask them to give apples up. You can quickly tell which students have turned off their displays by looking at your Apple Classroom screen. On this screen, you will notice that there's a difference between a student who would have their Bluetooth off, which will say offline, or display off, which just means they have turned off their iPad. Once we get teaching and working with students can get distracted and find their way onto other apps at times. Even though we've had the conversation about using the iPads appropriately for schoolwork, students can sometimes find their way to other apps. Good news, this app will do the work for you. Classroom is going to give you a full overview of all the apps your students went to during the class time. Let's take a look. Start by tapping End Class in the upper left-hand corner. When you first click Done, it's going to give you a class summary of what happened during the time period that you were observing this class. It will give you app usage, as well as students and the number of apps that they were in. If you find an app that is concerning in the time period that you are working, go ahead and tap on that app. By tapping on the app, it will give you the student's name, the amount of time that they spent within that app, as well as when during that time period that they were in the app. That is where the blue dots are at. Here is another example of tapping on an app. This one, the student app, a place where they should be, spending a little bit more time. You'll notice the blue lines are a little bit longer, and it shows you when they were in the app and when they were out. If you are concerned about a particular student or want to know where they were throughout their time period, tap on that student's name. After you tap on the student's name, it will show you all of the apps that they were in, how long they were in the app, and when during the duration of your viewing they were in the app. Again, this is indicated with the blue lines and the length of the blue lines. Apple Classroom is a powerful tool that can help guide your students through a lesson, see their progress, and of course, keep them on track. This was a quick overview of how to monitor your students using Apple Classroom.